If you've ever stepped into your garden during a brutal heat wave, you already know what defeat feels like. You water in the morning, and by noon the soil is cracked, thirsty, and pulling moisture straight out of the roots. The sun in some regions hits the ground like a hammer, especially when temperatures climb toward 40 degrees. For many gardeners, this is the moment frustration settles in, and the harvest feels like it's slipping away. But what if one single layer, simple, overlooked, and often applied incorrectly, could cut your watering by 90%? That's right, not half, not 2/3, 90%. And the strange thing is, most people walk right past this method without ever unlocking its full potential. Today, we're going to break that pattern completely. Because once you understand the science, the structure, and the proper layering of this mulch method, your soil will hold moisture so well you'll start questioning whether your irrigation line is leaking or your garden has suddenly learned how to take care of itself. So, stick with me through the opening minute, because what I'm about to show you isn't theory, isn't guesswork, and isn't some recycled gardening tip. It's a field-tested method that has saved gardens in scorching climates, revived dead beds, and kept moisture locked in long enough for roots to push through hard ground like it was butter. Let's break it down seriously, and let's do it the farm logic way. Real results, real field knowledge. No fluff. Most gardeners think mulch is just mulch. Throw down some leaves, maybe some straw, spread it around and walk away. But if you've ever tried mulching during extreme heat and still watched your soil dry out, then you already know something is missing. The truth is that mulch works only when it creates a barrier that slows evaporation, buffers heat, and supports microbial life underneath. You know, when mulch is too thin, too airy, or just too carbon-heavy, it sort of acts as insulation only in theory, not really in practice. Heat just slips right through, pulls the moisture straight from the soil, and honestly, you end up right back where you started. The real breakthrough, well, it happens the moment you stop thinking of mulch as a single layer and start seeing it as 3 cooperating zones. The top layer protects, the middle one moderates, and the bottom fuels those soil organisms that hold water just like sponges. So, when all 3 of these functions line up, your soil, it transforms into a moisture bank, not a moisture leak. The method that saved 90% of my water begins with a foundation layer many gardeners ignore. A thin but compacted sheet of organic matter that physically slows air movement at the soil surface. In practice, this is often something like dried grass or shredded leaves that have already begun to soften. This first layer matters because loose, fluffy mulch allows too much air circulation. Heat rushes down, water vapor rushes up, and the soil loses its moisture within hours. The second layer is where the magic happens. This is a dense, moisture-holding material like partially decomposed mulch, half-finished compost, or weeds that have wilted for 2 days. This is the layer that handles the real work, holding moisture, slowing heat, and feeding microbes. When this layer stays damp, microbial life flourishes. Microbes break down organic matter, turning it into humic substances, tiny particles that bind to water and keep it available for roots longer. The final layer is a sun shield. Materials like straw, wood chips, or chopped stems create a tough outer shell that deflects radiant heat. The mistake many people make is using this as the only mulch. It looks nice, but without the two supporting layers underneath, it does little to protect soil in extreme heat. When these three layers are applied correctly, foundation, moisture core, heat shield, water loss slows dramatically. During a 40-degree week, I watered once every 5 days, and sometimes not at all. The soil stayed dark, cool and workable while the surrounding ground turned bone dry. Start by watering your soil deeply. Mulch works by trapping moisture. It cannot trap what isn't there. Then apply the foundation layer. Dried grass, shredded leaves, soft hay, or chopped garden waste all work well, but keep it thin, just enough to cover the soil and limit airflow. Next, add the moisture core. This should be thick, 5 to 10 centimeters depending on your environment. Use wilted weeds, half-ready compost, or any soft organic material that can hold water. Press it lightly so it settles and forms a dense blanket. Finish with your heat shield. This is the layer that takes the sun's attack so the deeper layers can do their job. Straw, wood chips, sugarcane trash, maize stalks, or really any coarse material is perfect. It doesn't need to be pretty, it just needs to block the sun. Within a day, just lift a small section and check the soil beneath. You'll feel coolness in your hand, even when the sun is blazing overhead. That temperature difference is, well, the sign that your mulch is working. Unlike synthetic irrigation systems or store-bought soil conditioners, this mulch system, really compounds in value. Over weeks it breaks down, over months it creates soil aggregates, and over seasons it transforms dead ground into rich, moisture-holding soil that quite naturally resists heat and drought. Each year the need for watering drops even further because the soil becomes more structured, more alive, and, more capable of storing moisture at depth. This is the kind of method farmers and gardeners pass down, because it really stands the test of time. It's practical, adaptable, and, it's based entirely on natural systems that have been working long before we even understood them. If you want more hard-earned soil strategies that actually work in real fields, not just theories, make sure to subscribe to Farm Logic, share this guide with someone battling heat stress in their garden, and stay tuned for the next episode. Your soil deserves the best you can give it, and we're here to make sure you never farm blind again.